group. And on February 12th, love is in the air a little early. We got Valentine's Day coming up, but this CAN all day runner, all day runner. We haven't had an all day runner in a little while. We identified this setup pretty early in the day, around 11 o'clock or so Eastern time. We were talking about CAN. We jumped in this thing just around 11:30 and caught like a 30% move. This is a really, really nice trade that I was not expecting this much out of this trade today. And I'm going to talk to you guys about my trade in CAN. I actually got back into CAN later in the day for a swing trade. So I caught a really good intraday trade on CAN. And then I got back in before the close. I got long again, looking for day two of a short squeeze on CAN. What I want to explain to you guys with this trade is, first of all, this stock was very, very easy to borrow today, meaning a lot of traders got short because it was very easy to find shares to short. Just between Interactive Brokers and Cobra, you had like 1.4 million shares available. Just between those two houses, 1.4 million shares. A little bit more than that, actually, between the two firms. So very easy to get a borrow and a locate on this stock, which means you're going to have a lot of retail traders, some traders that don't necessarily really know what they're doing, that don't usually short, are coming in and they're shorting the stock because a lot of people, there was a lot of confusion today with CAN about the size of the float. People were getting different amounts in different places. Some people had several million. Some people had 660,000. There was a lot of confusion about the size of the float. There also wasn't like a news catalyst. We later found out Chris Toner, he's like one of our due diligence masters in chat. He said he found out that this is a company that is in the Bitcoin space, and they made like a 40,000 Bitcoin transfer that was kind of proof of concept for their investors, and that's what started the climb today. And then I just think shorts just fed into themselves, just continuing to short this thing all day long, and it just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing to give us this all-day short squeeze. And I caught a really good trade on it during the day, but the reason why I decided to get back into the trade is because if we don't see an offering, I think that short position that really piled in here today, if they get squeezed out, this can go to 13. Okay, this really could go to 13. We're trading higher here after the close. And I think this thing does have still a lot of potential. So let's kind of get to my trades on CAN. I want to break this down for you guys, and then we'll talk about the swing trade setup, what I'm risking, what my targets are, and what the game plan is with that. But let's talk about the day trade first. So let's zoom this in. Okay, let's zoom this in. All right, CAN had a real nice morning. I wasn't paying any attention to CAN in the morning, to be honest with you. It was not on my watch list to start the day, but it really started to get my attention here around like 11 a.m. Okay, the stock had this nice push higher, trade sideways, and then we broke through the high of the day with some nice, a nice little volume increase. You can see this nice little volume increase that came in when we pushed through these highs. Okay, so right there, when we pushed through those highs, I'm sorry to say to myself, I took a look over at the daily chart. Let me delete that line. I took a look over at the daily chart, and it looked like we were kind of double bottoming here on the daily chart. This is our first day of significant volume. You can see the stock's traded extremely low volume every day prior to today. I'm saying this is the first day that we're getting volume. I thought this had room up to 650. Why 650? Very simple, guys. Right there. There's your 650 area. You can see that resistance in December and January. You can see a triple top here at resistance at 650. So when I entered this trade, I was looking for 650. Okay, I was looking for 650. We broke through that high of the day, increase in volume. I'm saying, you know what? I really like this setup. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get long. And I got long right there at 5.7. I take you guys to my trade announcements on the day. Here you can see. I also traded AIM today, guys. If you want, at the end of the video, I'll go over my AIM trade. It was basically a non-event, long at 143, took some profit at 152, got flat at 138. It was basically a non-event, but I'll cover it after we talk about CAN for those of you that are interested in AIM, because I know a lot of people traded AIM today as well. But here you guys can see at 11:33 a.m., long CAN at 570, risking about 30 cents a share. Okay, so here I am long and we push higher and we start to get some better volume. Okay. I want you guys to notice how the volume is now starting to increase. All right. So we're starting to get more steady, consistent volume on can. We're starting to increase. We start to climb higher. But right here, I said, you know what? Let me play this safe. And now, because of the time of the day, I took profit at 589. Now, that's not where my first intended profit target really was, but I wanted to take a piece of profit off the table there because of time of day. And that's really where the rest of this lesson comes into play: time of day and understanding volume, time of day. Now, you've been following my channel now for a while. You know that I do not trust lunchtime breakouts. But we have to talk about the reason why I don't trust lunchtime breakouts, because lunchtime breakouts tend to fail more often than not because volume is typically lighter during lunchtime. And in order for you to get continuation and follow through, you need steady, strong, increasing volume. So if volume tends to be lighter during lunchtime, it's hard to get follow through if you need increasing volume to get that continuation. That's why I don't trust lunchtime breakouts. I don't trade lunchtime breakouts. This is the reason why. But if you take that reason out of the equation, meaning that volume is not decreasing during lunchtime, it's actually increasing, well, then now I have no reason not to trust the lunchtime breakout. So my rule of thumb is this: I do not trust lunchtime breakouts unless it's accompanied with the heaviest volume of the day. That's the key on CAN. All right. Because now CAN, now at this point, we've broken through the high of the day. We're coming up to lunchtime. I'm saying, I don't like the time of day. I don't like lunchtime breakouts. I don't know if the stock has the juice yet. Let me just play it safe. And I took 25% of my position off the table at 589. You can see right here. Okay. 30 minutes later, 589, my first take profit. But I'm still long 75% of my position. I'm still long the bulk of my position. Okay. Then what we have happen is a lunchtime breakout. We broke through the high of the day. So here was your previous high of the day. We broke through it with what? The heaviest volume of the day. You guys can see here that this volume that came in on this high of the day break is the heaviest volume the stock has traded at any point so far during the day. So what did we just talk about? This is when you trust the lunchtime breakout. My profit target was 650. So when we had that volume come in on that breakthrough highs, I said that's my target, 650, and I dropped the bulk of my position right there in front of that 650 area, just like we had planned. You can see here, it took more profit off at 635. That's the bulk of my position coming off the table there because of that resistance level at 650 that we already identified on the daily chart. There it is. Okay. That's why I wanted to get out the bulk of my position at that point in time. Now, look at the volume that's coming in, guys. Heaviest volume of the day by far. That's why I'm saying, okay, now I'm going to hold on to 25% of my position, look for follow through. I think the stock's got room. If it gets through 650, it's got room to 750, which is these previous little pivot lows you see back here from November. Okay. So my final take profit target now becomes 750. As we pan this over, you guys can see again another lunchtime breakout. This is around 1:35 in the afternoon. Another high of the day breakout. But again, what happened? Heaviest volume of the entire day on that break. So now I'm expecting follow through. I think we're going to get to 750. Sure enough, we get up here to high of the day of 744, and I take my final profit off the table right there at 740. That's about a 30% gain, okay, on that final take profit at 740, and it ended up being a home run trade. I was not expecting this much action in this stock today, okay, but by understanding the volume as it relates to the time of day, and we're still sitting here at $8. As it relates, volume relates to the time of day, I'm just keep noticing that the stock is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's getting more and more and more momentum as the day progresses because the volume is getting bigger and bigger with every consecutive high of day break. That is what you want to see out of a stock. When a stock breaks the high of the day, you want to see volume increase. Then it consolidates, and if the stock breaks the high of the day again, you want to see stronger volume on that break than you did the prior break. That's a signal to you that the stock still has momentum, and you can look for the stock to give you follow through. That is exactly what you saw in CAN. Every time the stock broke the high of the day, increase in volume. Broke the high of the day, increase in volume. Broke the high of the day, increase in volume. Broke the high of the day, increase in volume. Every single high of the day break was accompanied with heavier and heavier volume each consecutive time. That is when you know the stock has momentum. So, knowing this and understanding this and saying to myself, wow, this stock still has a lot of momentum. If the short position gets squeezed out of this, we could be looking at 13. Again, I'm thinking that there's a very large short position in this. There was confusion about the size of the float. There was some lack of clarity on what the catalyst for this move was today, and the stock was extremely easy to borrow. So I'm thinking there's a lot of traders that are short this thing, and if there's not an offering, now if there's an offering, there's nothing I can do about it. It's completely out of my control. We're going to gap down. We're going to get down big. Okay. Um, but if there's not an offering, I think that we have a chance to get day 2 of this short squeeze, and we could be looking at $13 tomorrow. May sound ambitious. We have to wait and see. If there's no news catalyst or no negative news catalyst, there's no offering. Um, how long are these shorts going to want to hold on to their positions? Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that are short this thing. So we'll wait. We'll see what happens. I got long guys for a swing trade here. I'll show you guys 3:15 in the afternoon. I got long at 7:50 for a swing trade. I'm risking about $1 a share. I'll stop out down here back around 6:50, which was, remember, this previous resistance level that we broke through today. If we get back below that, I'll exit the swing trade. But I'm looking for, a gap up tomorrow and a continuation on the short squeeze. I'm going to keep eyes on this, guys, after the bell here. We're trading now 782. We were just above 8. We got to see if we can get up into this region, and then I think that'll create that short squeeze. But I'll keep an eye on this over the next hour or so. You have to understand this is a very high risk trade. It's very high risk, very high reward on both sides of the fence. Whether you're long or short this, it's a high risk, high reward trade. Because if you're short, it's high risk because this can very easily open up at $11, $12 tomorrow. It's very possible. Okay. So it's high risk if you're short. If you're long, company could come out with an offering. It could open up at $5. So no matter what side of the trade you're on, it's a high risk, high reward trade. It can make a big move in either direction. I'm taking the long side of the trade because I think that if there's no offering, the chances of seeing a short squeeze on day 2 is actually pretty high. And all I'm doing to account for that extra risk of the swing trade, which is the potential of the gap down, just reducing my size. Okay. Reducing my size to account for that extra layer of risk. Also want to reduce your size because I want to protect my profits from the long earlier in the day. Okay. So I'm going to keep an eye on this can. We'll see what happens going into, as we trade in the after hour session, if we get any indication of momentum or direction, or if we just kind of sit here. I'd much rather see us get back towards 850 today in the after hour session rather than just sit here. I want to see some sense of urgency out of short sellers to start to cover their positions. We'll see if we get it. And then I'll go back to AIM. I'll make this real quick, guys. I said I'll touch upon AIM. This was really a non-event trade today, but this is just a really good reminder of why it's important to take profits off in front of the high of the day. So if you follow my channel now for a while, you know that I am infamous for taking 25% of my position off the table at the high of the day. And the reason why I do that is in case that high of the day does not break, it's an insurance policy on the rest of your position. So I came in here, guys, and I got long AIM right there. I'll take you guys to my announcements. Long at 143. Okay, long at 143. I liked the way, we were holding VWAP. We came down here. Let me draw this line out for you so show you guys the pattern that I was seeing. We came down here, violated VWAP in the trade line, immediately took it back. And I said, okay, you know what? I kind of like this setup in here. I'm long at 143. We popped out above this downtrend line, and the high of the day was 154. And I took a piece off right there at 152. Back to my announcements here. You guys can see took some profit 152. And again, that's just in case we do not break the high of the day, which is exactly what happened here. We got a double top. We rejected. We rolled back over. And I exited the rest of my position right there at 138 when we broke down below VWAP. Back to my announcements. There it is. Sold out the rest at 138. But a non-event trade. This is why I love that take profit. I love that take profit in front of the highs. It's such an insurance policy because if this pattern breaks down, you do not get hurt on the trade. It's basically a non-event. On the flip side, if the high of the day breaks and you get continuation, you're still in 75% of your position size. So you're still in good size and you can catch that move and you can catch a really nice trade. So that's why I really love that first take profit. It's something that I do in my trading. It's something that I teach all of our members, and it's something that I really do live by. And I think it really is a key little tip for you guys to use to manage risk on the rest of your positions. All right. So that's it, guys. We're getting a little bit of a pullback here on Can. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Take care, guys. I'll see you in chat later.